And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Signposts Live. Glad to be with you once again this week. So again, just a reminder that tomorrow I will also be doing New Earth TV Live. That too will be starting at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, and I'm going to be bringing in Adronis for his transmission, plus more Q&A, and of course some distance healing at the end of the broadcast for tomorrow. So today we're going to be looking more into current events, and you guys are going to be the topic makers, right? So again, for everybody on chat, if you guys have questions, you can feel free to post in regards to topics, perhaps regarding current events, but we're pretty much open to talking about anything here on the Signposts Live. But before we go ahead and get started, we're going to go ahead and start off with some announcements. So, as usual, I'm in a rush to get everything going, and I don't update my slides as I should be. So let me just go ahead and make that change now. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. I'm always like breakneck speed, last minute, trying to get everything together before I go on live here. So use promo code ENDOFNOV22. Okay, and that's getting 22% off of your products. Like I said, we do have the new Source flashlight. That's the healing flashlight, right, where you're turning it on, and if you have any particular forms of stiffness, wounds, aches, sores, pains within your body, then that is going to rejuvenate you within a matter of minutes. I've had some issues in regards to sending them out internationally because I was using Canada Post with that, and Canada Post doesn't touch anything in regards to batteries when it comes to sending things by air. So I'm now doing things by FedEx for people who are international. So again, that has been a little bit of a blip on the radar, but now it's definitely been changed. I have a FedEx account ready. So again, for those of you who are waiting for international orders, we finally got everything taken care of. So I will be sending out international orders this week. For those of you who have been waiting patiently for the flashlight, for everybody in Canada and the US, you're completely fine, right? But there's just been that little bit of an anomaly. So that has been taken care of. So again, we also have the Taurus bed kits now. The Taurus bed kits are basically getting ready. I have a warehouse in Canada to which they are going. I was originally going to bring them here, but I thought it just cost way too much money to get it here. So I have a warehouse in Canada that it is being shipped to, and it's all being offloaded and prepped. And then by Friday, we're going to get ready to start shipping out the Taurus bed kits. So for those of you who have already purchased the pre-order for the Taurus bed kits, it is going to be going out starting on Friday, and then more coming out on Monday and the next week. So we'll be getting all the pre-orders taken care of. So again, guys, your patience is exemplary. Thank you so much for being so patient as I just get all these things off the ground. The hard part is getting these things. Once these things are here, then we can manage the rest. The challenging part also has been whenever you have anything with batteries, right? The airlines are just so incredibly picky about that. You need a private carrier for that. So fortunately, I do have one, and we're getting that all together. So thank you again, guys, for your patience. That's awesome. So again, 22% off your products in your order right now using end of November 22, all capital letters, okay? Etherics.co. You can also sign up to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ethericsstore. I'm going to see if I can I'm going to be doing an Etherics broadcast, an Etherics live stream this Sunday, okay? So you can join me this Sunday for a special Etherics live stream because I'm going to be giving away 2 flashlights, okay? So that's going to be happening this Sunday on the Etherics live stream channel. That's youtube.com/@ethericsstore. Join up and you can be part of the giveaway. We're going to be giving away 2 Source flashlights. It's going to be amazing. I also have the laser pens that are coming as well too. They're a little bit delayed because the supplier had the same issue I did in regards to international orders and having to send it through a private carrier because of batteries, right? Those batteries are buggers. Simple as that. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. So private sessions are available, distance healing sessions, 3-question private email sessions, and full body source healing sessions. The full body source healing sessions are really taking off. They're just doing super well. I'm learning so much just by working with the full body source healing sessions, not to mention also the nutrition scan. So again, the nutrition scan is available as an add-on for the full body source healing sessions, or you can get it as a standalone session as well too. Nutrition and genetic scan sessions, scanning of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and genetic conditions. So you can get that now on newearthteachings.com. Same thing with private sessions. Private sessions will probably get you a little bit more quicker. If you really want to talk to me a lot more quicker, I would suggest doing a private session with me. As the healing sessions are getting pretty booked up, there's a little bit of a wait period for that. So again, if you want to get in quickly, look into a one-to-one private session with me, right? That'll be a lot more quicker to get to me if you want to talk to me about anything. And of course, the Bosnia tour. So explore the ancient Sun pyramid, larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Healing chambers within the pyramid and its construction is going to be revealed by Adronis. I'm going to be bringing Adronis in a lot through this particular tour, and he's going to be talking a lot about Bosnia. He's going to be talking a lot about the ancient technology. We're going to be looking a lot more into the blueprints, about how a pyramid is created in this way, what a pyramid is able to do, who are the builders of these particular pyramids, the healing energy that comes out of a pyramid, or again, that you can feel when you go into the underground tunnels, because we're going into underground healing tunnels. We're going to be looking into more ancient healing practices. I'm going to be teaching you guys advanced levels of resonant dowsing that will radically change your life, because it's certainly radically changing mine. I'll be teaching you guys about environmental healing as well too. And we're also going to go check out some sacred sites. We're going to be finding some sacred power spots, and we're going to be charging certain objects like crystals, rocks in that sense, gemstones, jewelry that you have on hand, and you'll be able to take the power of what you experience in Bosnia back home with you, right? No harm, no foul. So again, this is going to be happening in 2024 between September 15th and September 22nd, 7 days and 8 nights. I'm really looking forward. I've never been to Bosnia before, so I have heard from other people. I have friends who basically tell me, I've done Bosnia trips and it's wild, right? We went with this doctor, and this doctor was telling us all about the archaeology, and that's great, but I'm really taking a very different approach. I'm really showing you a spiritual tour. I'm showing you, in that sense, the vibrational technology. We're not just looking at the physicality of everything. This physicality really doesn't show you that much. I know there's a lot of people that are crazy about the physical science. With all due respect to me, physical science is pretty boring, right? It's really when you start getting into vibrational science, you start getting into energetic science, and you really see the picture, right? The physical science has a place, and it's a good anchor point for it, but you want to go beyond the physical science. You want to go into the vibrational science. It's Nikola Tesla himself that said, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, you want to look into vibration, frequency, and energy, right? So that's exactly what I'm all about, right? Teaching you guys about vibrational science and about the nature of vibration. That's far more exciting, that's far more expansive, and that's far more simple to apply to yourself when you're working with vibrational science, rather than getting so hooked up over the physical stuff. Physical stuff's fine, but let's get into the vibrational science of it. That's where the excitement really begins. And that's what Bosnia is all about, right? So again, go to wildtours.de and you can sign up there. That is hosted by Wild Tours as well too, a friend of mine who is hosting this whole event. Well, I would say hosting, is preparing the event. He'll be co-hosting, but I'll be hosting a lot of it as well too for the Ancient Healing Tour. And then finally, everything on the YouTube New Earth Teachings channel here is backed up onto Odyssey. Our link here is odyssey.com/@newearthteachings. All right, so how about we go ahead and get things rolling for today. So again, hello everybody, welcome. Happy you're all here. So again, if you guys do have a priority request, you're always welcome to leave a donation if you like. That will put you first in line. Otherwise, I'm just going to be going up and down through the chat, looking at see if there's any topics that you guys want to discuss today. So like I said, it can really be anything. I'm suggesting current events, but anything else that you guys want to discuss, feel free to do. I'm also going to be talking to Janine later this week, see if I can get her in either for December or January for a interview. All right, so I have not forgotten about Janine. I will be doing my best to see if I can bring her on. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so this one here is from Turn Up Every Day. Turn Up Every Day says, "Hi Brad, can I charge my water by putting it next to the Organite pyramid?" Yes, you certainly can. You can charge your water that way, because when you get the universal Organite pyramid, you're basically getting this expansive energy of the source center vibration. So the source center vibration is doing that. Now, I don't have a pyramid with me right now, it's in the other room, but if I was to put it right next to the pyramid, yes, I would certainly get a very powerful charge of the water. I would say probably leaving the water there for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then getting that powerful charge of the source center vibration, and then being able to drink it down. So if you do want to put a charge in your water using the Organite pyramid, that's certainly something that you can look into. Okay. Another question that he has is also a question to Adronis. Can one drink too much water? I read that more than 3/4 a liter a day is unhealthy. That's a good question, actually. So a lot of people are asking that question about how much water should I drink, right? What's a good amount of water for the average person to drink, okay? So why don't we go ahead and I'll bring Adronis in, and he can talk about the nature of drinking water for the human being, okay? So one moment as I go ahead and calibrate with him, and we'll begin. Don't be shy to ask your questions, guys. We got a lot of time here to fill. So if you guys have questions, this is the time to do it. Any current events that are on your mind, anything that's happening in the world that you want to talk about, right? Anything that's on your mind, feel free to put that in the chat. Don't be shy, don't be bashful. It's all text anyways. All right, here we go. Soul Star CDS Adrones. We are here at this time. We bid you greetings and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this particular broadcast being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. And so we have been asked a question about what is the appropriate amount of water that an adult human themselves should drink per day. Well, this really varies from person to person. Now, the important thing is not only to look at water as it relates to hydration, but more so relating to the idea of migration. So basically looking into the idea in that sense of helping to irrigate, migrate any particular form of debris from the body out of the colon. So it really depends in regards to your own health regime. Now, if you are a healthy male or female, right, where you feel in that sense that you have a strong metabolism, you have a strong digestive system, you won't actually need that much water. You could basically drink approximately 2 to 3 16 ounces of what we would suggest warm water. We would rarely suggest that you're drinking cold water. Room temperature is acceptable, but it would be much more appropriate to look into the idea of drinking warm water because this irrigates your entire system. So if you are, again, a healthy man or woman and you have a healthy digestive system, then you could have about 2 to 3 16 ounces of glasses of water, warm water, each day, just to help irrigate everything, to help migrate any particular form of debris that is caught up within the organs, that is caught up within the digestive system, that again helps to loosen the bowel, to again enable you to have at least 2 defecations per day. That would be optimal. If you are having much more of a trouble pertaining to digestion, if you're noticing that there is constipation or regularity that you are going through, then we would suggest that you double that amount, going in approximately to about 4 to 6 glasses of 16 ounces worth of water in each glass warm, and being able to irrigate the stomach, being able to irrigate the intestines, the digestive system, the colon, the bowel. All right. So again, think of it in this way, that again, if you're healthy, 2 to 3 glasses, 16 ounces warm water. Just double it if you're having problems with constipation. If you're having problems with moving the bowel in that way, you simply want to double that idea. All right. 4 to 6 of the 16 ounce glasses of warm water per day. That would be our recommendation altogether. All right? Thank you very much. Okay, great. So thank you very much, and I hope that answers your question. Turn up every day. Thank you for your question. Okay. Okay, there's a question here from Mr. Java Bali. Question, Buffy St. Mary's Aboriginal heritage has just been questioned. Okay, so let me just kind of look that up a little bit because I haven't been following that particular story. So let's take a look firstly at Buffy St. Mary, Aboriginal heritage. Okay, so St. Mary's 2018 authorized biography, state she was probably, okay, let me just look a little bit more into what she was going. Who is the real Buffy St. Marie? Buffy St. Marie pushes against doubles over Indigenous. Okay, so basically there's a scandal going on, from what I can see here, regarding Buffy St. Marie, Indigenous heritage. The Fifth Estate launched an investigation into the singer's background and found St. Marie's Indigenous heritage may be a fabrication. Okay. So basically just looking into this particular person. Again, I don't really like to look into people personally, right, as it is a question, but it is something in regards to a serious matter. So I guess we can take a look at that. So something in regards to a scandal. It looks like this scandal is already being exposed from what I can see here. But this is just a question here about Buffy St. Marie's Aboriginal heritage has just been questioned. And can you do a tale on that? So is she truly Aboriginal? If we can look into her background then. All right. So like I said, I don't usually like to look into these things, but like I said, as it is a request, I will go ahead and do it. Okay. So let's take a look at Buffy St. Marie, and if it's true that she is actually if she does have Aboriginal ethnicity to herself. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so basically what I'm seeing here is there is some particular truth in regards to a questionability relating to her authenticity of Aboriginal roots, you could say. Okay, so there are people that are quite concerned about that. This does feel like it is something that may affect her. Okay, may affect in regards to everything that she represents, everything that she's created. Basically, it feels like there's going to be a can of worms opened up. It feels like there's going to be some explanation coming together here. So there is some questionability in regards to her Aboriginal descent in that way, right? So, so she's basically going through a lot of hurtful allegations that I expect will be reported in the media soon. The truth as I know it, she talks about her proudness of being Indigenous, American identity, and the deep ties she has to Canada and the Piapot family. All right, so basically she may just have this particular type of exposure questioning her roots. I do feel that she may have some Aboriginal roots. I just don't feel that she may be in the area of the Indigenous as she thinks she may be. Okay, so it feels like there's going to be some explanation to basically bring out some hard truths that need to come out from her. Okay, so a lot of those things are being called into question. She may just not have the Aboriginal descent that she believes she does. I feel that she does have Aboriginal descent. It may just not be in regards to where or how she feels it is. Okay, so that's really what I'm getting for that question. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Okay. Okay, so here's one from EJM. EJM says, read on this Q clock countdown ending Monday 11:27. Just another distraction, Brad. Okay, well, let's take a look. There's a Q countdown, apparently. All right, so I guess we'll ask, is this clock countdown that's taking place valid? Is it going to lead to anything genuine? All right, we'll ask that question. And let's see what we get. Okay, let's see here. A Q clock countdown ending Monday 27/11. Is this something genuine? Is this going to lead to a genuine countdown of an event? Well, I'm getting actually it does lead to something very important. This is probably going to lead to some type of operation that is going to be taking place from what the 17th letter of the alphabet is saying. Okay, I don't really follow that stuff much anymore. I used to a couple years back, but I haven't really listened to anything of that nature, so I'm not too sure what this whole countdown thing is about. But basically, in that sense, it feels like it's something that's a teasing into something that may be a military operation or something behind the scenes that is taking place, because I'm not too sure exactly what the countdown clock represents. But it feels like there is might be an ousting in that particular way, right? So there may be some type of operation that's taking place secretly behind the scenes, and it's going to lead into something very, very positive. It's going to lead into something very, very good. So whatever is happening on 11/27, be it some particular type of op, then this does feel like it's some sort of genuine thing that's taking place. Okay? So it feels like there might just be an ousting taking place. Again, perhaps an operation that is probably going to be debilitating to one of the adversaries of the counterforces. Okay? So yes, it does feel like something very, very genuine is coming about on November 27th, and we only have to wait about 4 more days for that. I don't think you're going to see that in the media, though. Okay, I think this is going to be something that is just really behind the scenes. Something is taking place, but you're not going to see it on CNN or MSNBC or anything of that nature. Feels like it's a secret operation, but they're basically speaking in code, right? So something is going to happen that is going to lead to a further takedown pertaining to an adversary of the counterforces. Okay, so I'm getting that confirmation, yes. All right. So see what comes together, not just on the 27th, but even looking more into late November and early December, right? Seeing what takes place. Okay, so thank you, EJM, for your question. All right, let's go down the list here a bit more. Oops, lost my spot. Okay, there we go. Okay, this one here is from Alina. Alina says, Brad, can we illuminate a photo of someone with a flashlight to help them with a physical condition? Yes, you can. Okay. You can also use the source flashlight for distance. Okay. So if you do have a source flashlight, and let's say if your mom, for example, if she's far away from you and she has a medical condition and she left you a picture, then you can certainly do that, right? You can basically shine the source center vibration that comes out of the flashlight and appears on the picture. Now, what I would suggest is maybe have a full body picture of the person. Okay, that way you're working with their arms and legs, because you're really just working. You can work with their hologram, and you can work with their arms and legs if you're basically putting that intention to do so, right? You can work with it on that. But for an easier way, it would be a recommendation to work with their like a full body picture of them, right? So if you have a full body picture of them, just be a little bit more easier, right? You don't have to work too much about moving your awareness over to the right arm or the left hand if it's just a selfie, right? A selfie mugshot, right? I would suggest trying to get a full body picture of somebody, okay? And that would be much more easier to work together with them. But yes, the flashlight will work at a distance as well too. It's an amazing technology. Now another thing as well too is you can use the flashlight to charge your water, okay? And if you have it on high power, basically if you have it on a high beam, you just put it in the water and within 15 seconds, your drink is charged. If you have it on a low beam, give it about 30 seconds. 30 seconds, your drink is charged. And that works great. That will charge your water up incredibly quickly, okay? And you can charge crystals with it as well too, right? So if you have amethyst, if you have quartz, any particular crystal that you want to charge up, you're basically shining the light in them for about 30 seconds. 30 seconds, your crystal is now completely charged with source center vibration, okay? That works as well too. So it's working on yourself, it's working on others, it's working on your water, it's working on crystals. You can also apply it to other objects as well too, to radiate the source center vibration through it. So yes, that too can work very well. All right. It's pretty quiet today, guys. Usually I have like the whole chat full of questions, right? It's pretty quiet today. How interesting. People must be out and about. I guess they're doing Christmas shopping. Okay. So that's right, it's American Thanksgiving right now. Canadians, we've already had our Thanksgiving back in October, so good to hear. Okay, so this one here is Fishy Fun 57. Fishy Fun 57 says, question, what is happening with the pole shift? Heard it can be influenced by the cabal. Did the Earth core stop spinning twice? Okay, well the Earth's core doesn't spin, okay? So you're basically looking at when you're going into the center of the Earth, because I'll cover this part first. The center of the Earth is a singularity, okay? It doesn't spin. It's actually completely and totally still. So you have to look at the nature of the center of the Earth like a black hole, okay? Like a singularity. That singularity represents an inertial plane. So the center of the Earth is a plane of inertia, right? So again, it really does not move. It's completely still. If you were to go into the center of the Earth, because Adronis has talked about this, you basically just, first of all, wouldn't survive because the radiation within the center of the Earth is so intense. If you went there with your bare naked body, you'd be killed. Okay? So you can't really go into the center of the Earth because you're looking at a singularity. Now again, when the energies of the sun, which represents the sun's radiation, they basically, again, merge together and align together with the magnetics of the Earth, right? You're looking at its own etheric field, okay? And that energy goes into the northern and southern poles of the planet. And what you're basically doing is you're looking at a flushing that's going on. When you're looking at the aurora borealis, for example, the aurora borealis is the release of toxicity, right? That's all toxins that's coming out of the Earth when you're looking at the aurora borealis effect. It's beautiful, it's pretty, but that's almost like looking at the phlegm and the mucus of the Earth spewing all of that out. That's a waste product, right? So when you're looking at the aurora borealis, that is a waste product that's coming out of the Earth, okay? And again, as it's been happening recently, that aurora borealis is really spreading much, much further than it needs to. That is an indication of letting you know how much the Earth is releasing, how much she is purging out of herself, right? So the aurora borealis is a waste product, okay? It looks beautiful, it looks gorgeous, it looks wonderful, but that is like mother sneezing. That's like mother spewing, right? That's like mother releasing her bowels, okay? It looks pretty, but it's not. It's waste product. And that goes into the atmosphere, that comes into ourselves, and this is exactly why we have all of this heat coming together with us, physically, mentally, emotionally, collectively on the planet, because all of that is spewing out of the Earth. Right? She's spewing all of that, and that is magnetizing together with all life upon the planet. And now we have to regurgitate that. We have to purge that. We have to spew that out. And then again, that goes back into a particular type of clearing again, right? So this is kind of the cycle that she's going through. She's spewing a lot of that waste product. Some of it will be dissolved by the sun, but some of it also comes back onto the Earth as well. So I'd say the majority of it, rather, goes into the sun to be purged, to be purified, but some of it can actually kind of leak down as well too. And with some of it leaking down, that can basically have tremendous effects throughout us. And it also plays a part relating to solar alignments. It has to do with planetary alignments, right? The astrological nature of looking at everything. The good news is that 2024 is looking very interesting, right? 2024 looks like a time where it's going to be even a greater grace period, right? We've had a bit of a grace period here in 2023, but now we're moving to 2024. This is going to be something that's even going to be even more graceful, I think, because I think we're going to start moving away out of the madness very, very soon. There's a spewing of madness right now that's happening on the Earth, and like I said, that's her releasing a lot of that stuff. And as she releases, we have to release too, right? As she purges, we have to purge too. So getting to your question in regards to a pole shift, that's not something you need to concern about. Now, there has been something in the past relating to them trying to create an artificial pole shift. But if we're actually looking, we're seeing that there's already been a pole shift that's taken place. And this is going back around 2011, 2012. And it basically happened in a way where nobody really knew about it. Because even the Inuit would do studies, and they would see that we're actually aligned to different stars now, right? We're not just aligned right to Polaris anymore. We're actually moving much more into a different form of alignment. So that could be, again, another representation of a North Star. We basically have three North Stars, right? Polaris represents one, Deneb represents another, okay? And I believe Vega is the third one, right? So we're moving into another particular type of shift coming together. But we're seeing that the planet has already done a bit of a minor physical pole shift, right? Going back to 2011, 2012, I was even talking to people about that during that time, that we've already had a type of minor physical pole shift. It's already happened, right? And it didn't lead to any particular form of disasters. It is very, very simple, especially with a lot of the off-world administration. It is extremely simple for them to basically have two gigantic motherships, one at the north and one at the south, and basically just making a slight adjustment to manage and work together with the Earth to shift her in a certain way that would not cause disruption on the planet whatsoever. It's very, very simple, okay? Now, there certainly have been plans in the past relating to basically detonating nuclear devices to try and create a pole shift. That was one of the ideas. But that's never been allowed to happen. There is a zero tolerance policy for utilizing massive nuclear devices, right? They will be deactivated on sight. There's no tolerance for that. So that was one of their old plans that has never really phased out. So the idea of them being able to try to create a pole shift was a plan, but it has basically been extinguished. Okay, so I have heard about a lot of people talking about pole shifts in that sense. We still have a magnetic pole shift to go through. Okay, magnetic pole shift, I feel, is what basically brings about the 3 days of darkness. Okay, and I'm estimating that will be around 2038. Can I guarantee that? Not really. But that's just kind of the feeling that I'm getting, right? Even though I've heard from Spirit that it's pretty much definite that 2038 can represent a very small time of darkness, okay? And that has to do with the magnetic poles shifting. As the magnetic poles shift, we basically have a brief blackout period. I also talked about within the next couple of decades of there being like a gigantic blackout, right? Where there'll be a blackout where we will not be able to use the current electromagnetic technology at all anymore. But it will come at a particular age where humanity is now starting to work together with a new power source. That power source will be working a lot more with subtle energy. I do not know exactly when that's going to happen. Could be 2 decades, 3 decades ahead. It's hard to say. But that is something that I've seen, that I was feeling. Again, it kind of goes back to the new version of the day the earth stood still. We're at the very end of the movie, spoiler alert, right? Everything just basically shuts down. That is a plan. That is something that they actually have been considering doing. But it's not going to happen for quite some time. It's not something immediate. It's something a lot more distant, okay? But that at some particular point is going to happen. It's going to lead to the powering down of the electromagnetic grid because this is just not working. It's hurting the planet. Every time we're using electromagnetic technology, it is hurting the Earth, right? She's basically going through aggravation and going through irritation about us using electromagnetic energy because it's decayed life force. When you look at the electromagnetic spectrum, it is like the bowels of electricity, right? You're using the butt end of electricity. It's the dirtiest, it's the slowest, it's the most decayed of life force. Why would you want to use that as technology? It's stupidity, right? And we have just dedicated centuries working together with electromagnetism. And say, why would you work with the bowels of electricity? Why would you work with the dirtiest and the filthiest and the slowest and the most decayed and the densest form of life force? Because that's what electromagnetism is. It's archaic. It's caveman mentality here, right? Why are you guys working with electromagnetism? Like, that's archaic. That's Neanderthal. That's Cro-Magnon here. Why are you guys working with that, right? You should be working a lot more with the subtle energies. You should be working a lot more with scalar. You should be working a lot more with the 0 point. You should be working with the ether. That is what's going to sustain your entire civilization infinitely. And the reason why it's kept together is because of greed. Greed, corruption, right? That dastardly black-heartedness to try and keep everything here in a state of money and power, right? But that is the dirtiest, the filthiest, the grossest, the lowest, and the most decayed form of life force is electromagnetism. Even Nikola Tesla, his own words regarding Hertz frequencies, is that they are retarded Hertzian waves, right? Nikola Tesla never liked the idea of using electromagnetism, like using retarded Hertzian waves. It's decayed life force. It's ridiculous. It's archaic. And basically what Nikola Tesla was trying to do is trying to get people to work with scalar, to get into the subtle life energy, because now you have an infinite supply. It's exactly why he was looking to build his Wardenclyffe Tower and start bringing about this wireless energy for the entire planet. And all you would need is a receiver the size of a breadbasket, and that would take care of everything. You would have an infinite, endless supply of energy for whatever you needed. You take down telephone poles, you take down all the wires, you take everything down, and he was planning on getting rid of it all. But of course, they had the greedy people. Oh, but we can't charge for this. We can't charge for this, right? You can't just have infinite energy for everybody. How are we going to charge for it, right? The greedy basically refused. And they kept their disgusting, bowel-inducing, right, decaying electromagnetic life force. The technology we're using here, guys, is absolute crap, right? It's garbage. There is nothing about this technology that is outstanding, right? Even the technology I'm using right now is absolute crap, right? What I'm using right now to talk to you guys, to be on video, is primitive Neanderthal caveman technology. That's electromagnetism for you. So when we start getting into scalar, you start getting into 0 point, you start getting into the etheric technology, now you're catching up with galactic civilization, because that's exactly what galactic civilization uses. They don't use friggin' electromagnetic. They don't use combustible rocket fuel to fuel their ships. Like, this is like, why don't you just go ahead and go out into outer space in a can of sardines with masking tape and bubble gum? Right? It's almost laughable. It's like, what are they doing? Are they using like combustion-based fuel to get into outer space? Are they stupid? What are they doing? They have the technology to use scalar. They have the technology to work with 0 point. They have the technology to work together in developing their own magnetic field for propulsion, for looking into the idea of actually creating spacecraft like saucers. And we have the technology to do that. It's not difficult, right? But we have been so indoctrinated and brainwashed and thinking that electromagnetism and combustion-based technology is exactly what we're just going to explode everything. Just everything needs to be exploded. Boom, here's a rocket ship. Right? And look how much pounds and pounds of force is going up when a rocket ship is going up, right? That immense amount of force, combustion, man, that's despicable. That's like just seatbelting yourself to a gigantic firecracker. Oh, hope you don't die. Right? Whoops. It's madness. It's insanity. So yes, during the times ahead, we're going to be moving into something much, much more advanced, where there is an infinite amount of energy for all of humanity, right? Where it's going to complement the Earth. You work with scalar energy in the right way. You attune it in a way that is beneficial for the Earth is going to thrive, right? There's a harmful part of scalar, absolutely. But if you work together in the way that it's aligned to harmonize with the Earth, then that's the same way that you're harmonizing with your technology, right? So we are going to be getting into that. But electromagnetism, combustion, engines, and all this stuff is absolute Neanderthal garbage, right? The technology we use today is absolute crap. So there's my perspective on it, all right? Thank you again for your question. So no post shift that I'm aware of other than a magnetic one to come soon. But it will not really be disastrous. Like I said, there will be a blackout time, but it's like looking at an eclipse, right? It basically will be the time as if you're looking at a long-standing eclipse that could be a day or maybe 2 days or maybe 3 days long. And they will always say that when you're working together with when you're basically face-to-face with a solar eclipse, you should stay indoors. Now, people keep asking, well, Brad, why is that? Because that is bringing volatile energies of the Earth, and it's bringing volatile energies out of the Earth, and that is basically going to affect you, and you are going to get tremendously sick, right? And it's going to happen over time. You have to look at vibrational science. Physical science can't pick that stuff up. Physical science cannot use any of its meters, any of its gauges to understand exactly what's happening during a lunar or a solar eclipse. But if you are face-to-face with a solar eclipse, my recommendation, stay indoors until it's over. Right? Do not go outside. Simple as that. And what I would suggest is meditating during that time, cleaning your entire space during that time, right? Whether you're saging things down, whether you're meditating, that would be my recommendation, because you're basically witnessing volatile energies coming out of the Earth, right? There's such a technology, I won't call it a technology, but there's basically a form that is known as geopathic stress. And you have volatile energies under all of that geopathic stress. And when you have a total eclipse, that lifts all of that volatile energy up into the surface. And if you are basically exposed into the outside, then you can get sick, you can get ill, okay? That can happen. This can also relate to emotional illness. This can also relate to mental illness. It is a vibrational toxicity. It is a subtle life body toxicity that you are dealing with when you're looking at eclipses, right? The ancient Indians, the ancient indigenous would also tell you, stay indoors. Don't go out during an eclipse. This is your time to go into contemplation. This is your time to reflect inwards and just clean your space, keep your space clean while an eclipse is happening, okay? You don't have to take my advice, but this again is coming from my ancestors as well too, right? You're not looking at something that you can understand to be physical. It's physical on a different level. It's a sub-physical plane, right? And you have all of that volatile vibrational energy coming into you, and it can cause all kinds of problems. It can even cause problems with your manifestation capabilities, right? Where you can basically just manifest misfortune. So take that into mind. That's something you can put on the shelf if you need to, all right? Okay, so I know I went on quite a bit, but Fishy Fun had a really great question here. So let's go on. So Golden Rule says, hi Brad, what happened to the patients who disappear in hospitals and reappear in a different location in the same building, but they're dead? I've never heard of that. Okay. So what happened to the patients who disappeared in hospitals and reappeared in different locations in the same building, but they're dead? Yeah, I've never heard of anything like that going down. So interesting. Okay. I guess what we can do is we can look at the tarot cards for that and see in that sense about what has been taking place here. So basically patients who disappeared in hospitals but reappeared in a different location in the same building. So they were moved to a different area of the building, but they're dead. Okay, interesting. So let's take a look at that. I've never heard of that. So anyways, whoops. Okay, well this card has popped out, so that'll be the first one that comes down. Okay. So this one here represents the outcome of that reading. Yeah, it doesn't feel like, I don't know if that's legit. I just don't know, right? It just feels like this is something that's more contrived in that idea, because I've never heard of anything like that happening. Here's the Moon card, and this is basically saying that this feels like more like hearsay in that way. I have never heard of anything like that, about a person basically leaving the hospital, mysteriously disappearing, and then appearing in another area of the hospital where they're dead. Yeah, I've never ever heard of that. So from what I'm getting here from the reading, it doesn't feel like that's a legit thing that's happening, right? Because I've never heard any reports from that. I've never heard anybody tell me anything of that nature. I've never really sensed that as well too. So maybe there has been something that's taken place, but like I said, I'm just getting the Moon card here in regards to validity of the story, right? And it doesn't feel legit. It feels like this is something that's contrived. It feels like that's something that maybe somebody has said because maybe they misunderstood the situation, right? That's all I'm getting. That's what I'm getting from the cards. So it's basically saying you have to kind of adjust with what you're hearing here. Be a little more discerning with that, because that may not be the truth of what you're hearing. Okay, that's from the cards. That's what the cards are telling me. Okay, and of course we have the High Priestess in the near future, more discerning, right? Looking into the nature of what is actually truth, listening to your inner senses. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Okay. Okay, here's another one from Turn Up Every Day. Can Adronas elaborate on the sacred mountain Arunachala in India? I lived there for 1 month, and it's the home of Ramana Maharshi. Yes, I'm quite aware of that particular. It's not really a mountain, though. It's a hill, right? Arunachala in India, okay? So we can look into that and see what comes through. But I have heard of Ramana Maharshi. He would refer to that hill as his guru, right? So we'll take a look into that in Arunachala. All right, here we go. We are here, and we thank you very much for your question pertaining to the space that you would term as Arunachala. It is a space that has been sanctified by saints of your ancient past, going back into ancient India. For there are many in that sense who went atop of that hill and reached higher states of enlightenment, that their energy was basically covering the entirety of the mountain. It was a blessed space. You would also refer to this particular hill as a sacred space itself. It holds a very harmonious energy. It is very freeing just by being present together with it. But there have been sages, there have been saints of old who have reached that particular point at the top of the hill where they have reached high states of enlightenment, and through the radiance of their being fills every particular atom of the soil that makes up that particular hill. Therefore, when you look at the nature of your Ramana Maharshi, that he would walk up that hill quite commonly And that heel would be his guru, because he would feel the presence of the divine throughout that particular heel. He would walk there and he would feel it. He would feel the divinity. He would feel the expansion. He would feel the wisdom. He would feel the land talking to him. And that again is the expansiveness, the sacred vibration that radiates throughout Arunachala. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Turn up every day. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay. Oops. Let me just go back here. Okay, we're starting to get some more questions now, so that's good to see, guys. Glad you're all with me here. Okay. So this one here is from Martin Howard. He says, "Hey, Brad, I have rheumatoid arthritis and lupus in my body. How can I treat this best? I have the Taurus blanket, the 3 cards, and a flashlight on the way." Yeah, I can't offer medical advice to anybody. Really, what I can do is just offer healing advice, right? So if you're already working together with the etherics technology, such as with the blanket, the card decks, okay? So basically, if we have rheumatoid arthritis, you see, arthritis is not the problem. It's viruses, it's toxins, it's metals, okay? So you want to work with the virus eliminator, right? The body deck will certainly help you with that. You want to get the metals out of your body. You want to work with heavy metal eliminator. You want to work with your bone enhancer, okay? Bone enhancer, joint enhancer. That's also going to help with clearing up a lot of the debris. You see, arthritis itself is more of a fluidic compound that is contained in the bodies to prevent the joints, to prevent certain areas of the body from basically breaking, right? Because there is in that sense a very strong problem even within the bone marrow of yourself, right? So when you're working with a bone enhancer in the body deck, you're helping to rejuvenate the bone marrow within your body as well too, okay? So arthritis really isn't the problem, it's the defense mechanism. It's something else pertaining to toxins, it's something else pertaining to viruses, it's something else pertaining to metals, okay? All of that needs to be worked on. So the body deck has many different cards that you can work with, okay? So I would suggest exactly where you're feeling the rheumatoid arthritis, and that's exactly where you're putting it, okay? Same thing in regards to lupus, right? Same things in regards to respiratory problems. Same thing in regards to heart problems, anything of that nature. Work with the body deck, the mind deck, the energy deck. They all have appropriate cards for that. If you're working with the Taurus blanket, tell the Taurus blanket exactly what you have and stay under the Taurus blanket. Let the Taurus blanket work with you as often as you can each and every single day, right? If you're talking about the, what are the other ones you have? Taurus blanket, the 3 cards, and the flashlight. Okay, if you have the flashlight, keep the flashlight on areas of your body for, I'd say, at least 10 to 15 minutes, okay? And just helping to relieve all of that particular toxicity that's causing the arthritis to flare up, okay? So even if we're looking at things like arthritis or autoimmune problems or anything of that nature, you know, the body is not so incompetent as to attack itself. Like I said, I'm not trying to give medical claims here in that sense, but really when you look at this vibrationally, that's not what's happening. The body is not attacking itself. The immune system is not attacking itself. You're basically looking at a great deal of toxicity that is affecting directly into the organs. And basically a lot of the immune system is going in there and helping to clear it out, but they can only do so much. So when you're working to boost your own prana, that prana is going to give your body an essential boost to help clear away all of the debris that is responsible for causing these particular conditions. And that's basically what all 3 of the card decks do, is they're helping to boost up your prana so that you're getting enough pranic assistance, clearing away obstructions and blockages there so that the prana can get in there, and through the blood flow, it's going to help to clear out a lot of that debris, okay? So again, this is not medical advice, this is just healing advice pertaining to the technology that you have available. So keep working with those cards, keep working with the organs, the organ cards as well too. Spend 10 to 15 minutes on the flashlight, shining it wherever you need it to be, okay? And just working together with penetrating and getting a lot of those blockages out. If you need additional help, you can always come to me and I can help you further, okay? Thank you, Martin. Okay, this one here is from Naran. Naran says, "Hi Brad, question. Are most of the doctors NPCs, non-playable characters?" See, this is video game references that you guys are talking about. Are you guys gamers? No, they're not, Nuran. Okay, it's not about the idea of people thinking about non-playable characters and holograms and background people in that way. There certainly is background people, but you also have to understand, guys, that there's other particular intelligences upon this planet that we do not know about. There's certain particular types of bodies in that sense that are AI, right? You're looking at AI bodies. There's certain bodies on this planet that are basically artificial intelligence, and they have rolled that out, right? And they may not act human whatsoever. So this comes down into AI. This basically comes into programmable life forms, PLFs. Okay, some of them are there. They're basically infiltrators, right? And they're basically just getting data from wherever they travel from place to place. So that they're basically discovering behavioral mechanisms or behavioral algorithms in that sense to help improve their design. So there's quite a bit of AI that walks around the planet. Okay, some of it is extraterrestrial made. Some of it is reverse engineered. And this is why you basically have people in that sense that are just acting very, very strangely, right? I've been watching some videos about people just like standing still. They're just standing there like watching something in the mirror, and they just start walking backwards in the most inhuman way that you can see. And people say, oh, that must be a non-playable character, or that must be a background person. And I said, no, you're basically looking at AI with that, okay? So there is AI in that way. Some of it is also cybernetic organisms, right? Cyborgs, programmable life forms. So background people are a little bit more different. When I'm talking about background people, I don't know the whole NPC, non-playable characters. Have you ever played another character that exists on this planet? You've only played yourself. So basically everybody else around you is a non-playable character. You see how that doesn't make sense? It's a gaming reference and saying that, oh, here I am as the gamer. I'm here and I'm basically just looking at these NPCs because they don't really know anything. They basically just are set to a certain task. Okay, well that makes sense, but that's still not very accurate in regards to what's being shared here. When you're looking at the idea of a background person, all they are is filler, right? They're just filler. You don't even really interact with background people, right? Background people really do not have any means of interacting with you. That's like an actor on the stage trying to associate with an extra, right? The extra and the actor are not meant to associate with each other. They're just filler, right? You don't really interact with background people. The people that you're going to interact with are going to have some type of conversation with you, and that would not be a living extra. That would not be a background person. That would be a minor character, okay? So maybe that minor character is a PLF, right? Maybe that minor character is a programmable life form. Maybe that minor character is a hologram, right? Maybe that minor character is an incognito ET, right? But when you're looking at non-playable characters, that's just a video game reference, right? That's just something from gamers, right? So, oh, okay, I got these NPCs, and I'm playing these MMORPGs a lot, and I get these particular types of characters. But it's not so much an idea of as cut and dry as people think, right? I know Janine has also talked about the nature of NPCs as well too, or non-playable characters. There's a lot of phenomena around this planet that we really cannot explain, right? There are background people. There is AI. There is holograms, right? There are projections. There are incognito ETs. There are interdimensional beings coming and going. There's people from other Earths that are intersecting together with our Earth who know nothing of this Earth but feel that they're still walking through their Earth and then suddenly disappearing. You have people manifesting dream bodies that are coming onto the plane where they're just suddenly appearing out of nowhere. They're walking across the street and then they disappear again. What the heck is happening? Well, Brad, what is that? And I'd be saying, well, that's basically a person who's in an astral state. That's a person who's basically in an astral dream. They're basically having a dream experience. They walk and they disappear. That's a manifestation of a dream body, right? So there's a lot of different things that are going on here. All kinds. There's even things I'm not even aware of relating to what's taking place. Okay, different creatures, different types of beings who can shapeshift, right? It goes on and on. Earth is everything that we think it's not. Right? You have all kinds of interesting characters. So I can't really run through the gauntlet and explain everything that's happening to you. But basically when I look in the nature of background people, you're just looking at filler. It's really not something that really is bringing your attention to that. Because if you're bringing attention to that, you're looking into something that is a transaction. You're looking into a transmission. And that doesn't apply to a background character. Right? Background character is something that is completely and totally non-interactive. Right? That's how it works. So that's my own 2 cents on it. Okay, But I know a lot of people talk about NPCs, non-playable characters. But if that's the case, then everybody that's around you is an NPC, because you can't play as them. You can only play as yourself. That's why I say that term isn't very appropriate. Okay, so going to, let's see here, Fishy Fun, I believe is where it was. Fishy Fun, what do indoor orbs, white colors mean? Was that my son's caught a snowstorm of orbs coming from the closet? Well, that can mean many different things. A white orb is not so cut and dry where you just think it's one thing. Okay, that can be a technology. Okay, that can be a spirit. That can be a spirit being. That can be a manifestation of an intelligence, right? We really cannot give you a cut and dry answer about, well, white orb means one thing, right? It can be the idea of you looking at a thought form. A thought form could be white light, right? A thought form could be orange light. It all just depends in regards to the situation that's happening, right? If you basically took a photo of it and say, okay, Brad, this is what's happening, I could probably tune into it a lot more. But when you're looking at these orbs have many different numerations. They have many different forms of roles that they can play, from thought forms, from emotions, from beings that are, again, projecting into your space, from pure spirits, right? It's many different things. So can't really tell you unless there's a little bit more information that's submitted to me. Then we can probably look into a little bit more. Okay? I have orbs in my backyard quite a bit, right? I have these little beautiful spirit orbs that are coming in all the time because there's a great deal of source center vibration in my backyard that I put there. And again, you have these spirit orbs that are coming in, and it's like they're refreshing the entire space, right? They're coming from a very, very pure dimension. And from our perspective, they appear as orbs because we're in a very dense physicality here. From their perspective, they are living beings, right? And they are all moving towards this energy, and they're absorbing it, and they're spreading it out. It's a beautiful thing, okay? But orbs have many different characteristics to them. It's not just one thing cut and dry, okay? So the whole thing about life, guys, is it's not about the idea of, okay, well, here's a compartment 1, here's compartment 2, here's compartment 3, and something has to fit within these 3 compartments. No, right? Life doesn't work that way. Life is wondrous. Life is enigmatic, and you will not always have answers for things. Rather, just feel into it, right? That's the most important thing. Feel into what the experience is bringing to you, and be aware of what you're feeling, and work with it, right? Okay, so let's go down the list here. Now people are asking more questions. I appreciate that. Okay. Okay, so Brandy asked the question, will the results of the jabs be revealed as to what they have caused? Not anytime soon, no. Okay? It's going to stay alternate stream for quite a few years. This is probably not going to be something that'll be revealed to itself publicly for probably the next couple of decades. 9/11 hasn't even been revealed as to what it truly is. And you've had psychics for years saying, oh, it's going to reveal this year, it's going to reveal this year. No. Now, that's something that's going to be hidden for quite some time, too. We haven't even gotten the truth about 9/11 being exposed in the mainstream media because the mainstream media is bought out, right? You're not going to find the truth in MSM. So you can look in alternative streams, and they'll tell you. But some of you want, oh, well, the government's got to come through. The government is part of the entire agenda, my friends. They're not going to tell you shit, okay? So do not look towards the MSM about feeling that that is what's going to be revealed. Oh, we're going to learn the truth about the jabs. We're going to learn the truth about 9/11. We're going to be the truth about Sandy Hook. We're going to look at the truth at all these psyops. No, you're not. Because they are paid out through greed. And as long as that greed exists, all of that will be kept in a vault. And your best bet is you may see some things in the alternative stream about that. But most importantly, you'll know the truth in here. If you already know the truth in regards to what the jabs represent, why do you need anybody else to announce it, right? If you already know the truth, that's so important. Value your truth. Value of what you already know, right? Do not worry about what the outside has to say to validate yourself, because then again, you're just being a slave for their wishes. You're being a slave for their intentions. You're being a slave for their confirmations. Value what's in here. And if you know what is in here, then you're in a good space. That's my answer to that, okay? Okay. So this one here is from Sean. This is again a question about the flashlights. Does the new etherics healing flashlight require belief to be effective? even though you may rather be alone up in a mountain forest blissfully meditating. Thank you. If you want to be up in a mountain forest meditating, go for it, right? It's awesome. No, it does not require belief. If I was basically telling, oh, you guys have to believe in this, then basically the technology I'm creating is absolute crap. Okay? This is not about belief. Okay? And if you have people in that saying, oh, you just got to believe in it, you got to believe in it, they haven't created anything. Okay? What is happening through this technology is that this is actually aligned to the source center vibration. Through vibrational instruments that I have, this is proven. This is factual. Okay? What you're getting through the flashlight is factual stimulation of the source center vibration. That source center vibration is coming through the light. And I have technology here, tools here that confirm that the source center vibration, when you turn the flashlight on, a great concentration of that source center vibration is coming together. Now I'm going to be upgrading the flashlights. I'm going to be upgrading the Taurus bed kits here very soon, within about a week's time, where they're actually going to start radiating Kundalini. Okay, so it's going to be Kundalini, my Kundalini together with yours. I'm basically putting my Kundalini together with the user that's utilizing that, and we're blending Kundalini together, and you're actually going to work with the Kundalini power together with the source center vibration with the source flashlights. Now, someone may ask me, Brad, when you're going to do that? You have to stay tuned to my newsletters on Etherics. Okay, you scroll down to the bottom of the home page, you sign up there. If you've already purchased something, you're automatically subscribed to those. I will be letting everybody know by newsletter. Okay, so that will be within a week's time when I do a Kundalini update, both for the Taurus bed kit and for the flashlight. Those will be the only two technologies that will have that. Okay, so Taurus bed kit, source flashlight will also have Kundalini power. My power combined together with your Kundalini power to basically make something very, very powerful. Okay, so that will work in harmony together with the source center vibration. Okay, so there's a difference between source center vibration and Kundalini, right? Kundalini is much more of an intelligence force, whereas the source center vibration, it is intelligence, but it's the center of all intelligence, whereas Kundalini basically represents life intelligence, okay, and life healing and life rejuvenation. Okay, so that's what's going to be added to the flashlight and to the Taurus bed kit here within 1 week's time. Okay. Pete also asked, hi Brad, does the new torch break down scar tissue? Over time it can, yes. I haven't officially tested this out, guys. You guys have to be my organic researchers. Okay? There's certain things I haven't tested out. I've tested out certain injuries within myself with the flashlight, but I don't have every single injury known to man. Okay, this is why you guys are buying it, because you guys are being my organic researchers. Brad, I got a lot of scar tissue. Then use the flashlight, right? Put it on for about 10 to 15 minutes per day. How is it progressing from day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Right? Oh, it's starting to go down. Great. Now I have you as my organic researcher. Guys, I don't have to pay. I'm not paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for peer reviews. One of the biggest scams on the planet. Right? I'm not paying anybody in that sense to do peer reviews of these things. You guys are my researchers. So I have certain things in my body that I'm clearing away, and the flashlight has done a good job with that, right? I've had the strain of the finger. The flashlight has taken care of that, right? I've had problems with my joints. I've shone the flashlight on there. Flashlight has taken care of it, right? There's certain things that I have. I've had some bacterial things. I cleaned it away with a flashlight. Flashlight has taken care of it. But I don't have everything, right? So you guys have to be my organic researchers. This is why I suggest when you get something that's a breakthrough from the flashlight, from the bed kits, from the card decks, or anything of that nature, you're writing a testimonial. You're putting that testimonial on the site and saying, yes, I used this for this certain amount of time. This is what I did, and here's the result I got out of it. That's you guys being my organic researchers. So you guys are the researchers. You guys are the testimonials. You guys are the ones that can help to bring this out further. So everything I've used it for, been greatly successful. But I don't have everything. So I don't really have scar tissue. So again, if you have scar tissue, work with it and see how it does after the next couple of weeks. See how you feel. And if you want to leave a testimonial, that will help, because it's not only helping Etherics to grow, that's helping every single person that's looking at this technology. No, it doesn't work. Well, here's a person's testimonial about how it's worked for them, helping to clear away their scar tissue after a certain number of days. that is what helps, right? Like I said, Etherics is a community, right? That's the most important thing, is that you guys are helping to make the technology that I offer in Etherics a success, to expand it, to let people know more about it, so that I can continue to make more of these things, so that thousands and thousands of people can enjoy it, okay? So thank you for your question. Okay, okay, here's one from M. Arsianuk. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right. But Brad, the chemtrails that are being sprayed now are spreading very differently from the past. Is this new spraying of the skies good for us now? I have talked about that in the past, going back a couple of years. Why don't we do a tarot card reading on this to update it? But in the past, I've talked about the idea that the chemtrails are changing, right? And that they may be under a new particular type of umbrella. Right? So let's take a look in that sense of the common chemtrails that we often see in the skies right now. Have they changed into something beneficial? Okay. Let's take a look at that and see. Okay, so what I can see here is it feels like there still are some dirty chemtrails taking place. I guess it really just depends in regards to where you are, right? There still are ones that are dirty that are taking place, but there are new ideas. There's new ways of trying to create these kind of like chemtrails. I guess the best way I can put it, for a lack of expression, is happening, okay? So this is the situation with dirty chemtrails in that sense, but this is the whole idea of the current, right? So there certainly are innovations that are taking place to basically try to replace the chemtrails, and utilizing new types of chemtrails, and this represents the past right here, okay? This is the past representing how dirty the chemtrails were. They were causing all kind of contamination within the skies. But it feels like there's a new alchemy coming together, right? So they may actually be working a lot more perhaps with monoatomics, okay? So there may be something relating to monoatomics, because that's basically how you reverse the effects. You work with different types of monoatomic elements. It can be something as simple as sea salt, right? You can work with salts, and you basically make that in a monoatomic way, and that's being sprayed, right? And that's helping to clean up the skies. I guess the best way to put it is, if you're in your area, because this is still kind of scattered about the planet, if you're noticing that there are chemtrails in the sky and you're not getting that cold effect, because usually when an old dirty chemtrail will spray across the sky, you just start feeling cold. Like everything just starts to feel a lot more cold, because that's all the aluminum within the chemtrail that's basically creating this sheath to prevent all of the sunlight from coming down, and you just feel cold, right? And of course we're in the winter time right now, but maybe again if you're in the equatorial regions and you're noticing that a chemtrail is coming out, oh, but I don't feel cold. It's interesting. A chemtrail is overhead, but I don't feel cold. Then that may be something different from what I'm talking about, okay? But it's kind of spread out. It's not really, worldwide yet. It feels like it's just in portions of the planet, okay? So near future, this looks like something that will be rolled out, but it might still take a little bit of time, okay? But they're working on it for sure. So right now there is a new plan that's unfolding where the entire chemtrail agenda is going to be expunged. And I don't think it's going to do with a big gigantic revealing. I think it's just going to happen, right? So I know that some of the chemtrails that have been here locally have been still given some of the cold effect, but maybe it's different in certain areas of the planet, right? So that's what I can suggest right now. But yes, it's really involves monoatomic elements. And if you start working with the monoatomic elements or something of that nature close to it, then you're basically cleaning up the skies, and you're helping to clear away a lot of that environmental pollution that the chemtrails have done, because chemtrails have been detrimental to the planet. It's like spraying pharmaceuticals around the entire sky. It's nasty, right? So my feeling is that they are trying to make something of a greater improvement relating to that happen. So that may be happening in certain areas of the planet, but it's not fully widespread yet. Okay, thank you for your question. But yes, I have talked about that going back a couple of years. Okay, all right. So going down the list here a bit more. Let's see how we're on time. It's 11:11 right now. Yay, beautiful. Divine timing. Okay. So let's go down the list here a bit more. I'm going to see if we can probably take about 3 or 4 more questions. I'm going to wrap it up today. Okay. Okay. Just give me a moment here, guys. I'm just reading some questions here. Okay, this one here is from Colleen. Colleen says, I've heard that there is a reset every 138 years, and the next one is 2040. Can you tell me anything about this, please? I think you're close, okay? Because I've been talking about 2038, okay? And I didn't get that from a 138-year cycle, but that's mainly coming from, one, my own intuition, and then as I connected with my own intuition with other people who are corroborating, there's another fellow by the name of John Van Auken, okay? So John Van, F-V-A-N, I think it's V-A-N or V-O-N, Van Auken, A-U-K-E-N, okay? And he talks a lot about 2038, okay? And he got this by doing very extensive, deep research. He's also part of the Edgar Cayce Foundation, and he's done some very extensive research pertaining to Egypt and the Egyptian timeline that is referenced throughout how the Great Pyramid of Giza is structured. It's very, very fascinating. And basically, as they did this measurement with Edgar Cayce's help as well, too, when he was alive, he would talk about the idea of this timeline ending in 2038. Okay, so you're very, very close. I think it's just a matter of a 2-year adjustment there. So 2038 would be the reset of this new timeline. And however that's going to happen, because I've talked about it briefly, again, it's been told to me that there could be 3 days of darkness, maybe 1 day of darkness, maybe 2 days of darkness, but something in regards to a darkness period around 2038. Again, I'm not chiseling that in granite, okay? But this is something that has been revealed to me, and even from Spirit's perspective, it's something that is pretty much a assured thing to happen. But I try not to say things like that because I don't want to get people's hopes up, and I don't want to chisel this in granite. So Brad knows all this stuff, and it's chiseled in granite. It's 100% guaranteed and all that. And I don't want to go there, right? I'm even though I'm giving you guys what I've been told, right, that this is pretty much a sure thing. This is guaranteed to happen, but still, I'm not chiseling it in the granite. So I think you're just very, very close with that, about a reset that's taking place, and I've seen it between 2037 and 2038, okay? What is going to be happening after that time? Well, this is a benchmark where it's the ending of prophecy. Everything that represents all of the prophecies that have come back, has come forward from the past 1,000 years or 2,000 years or several thousand years, is going to culminate before that time. That is therefore entering into a new era of humanity. Okay, so post 2038, it will be the benchmark of starting a whole new planet unlike anything that we've ever seen, right? That could be the idea of galactic inauguration. That could be the point in that sense of humanity getting together and now starting to make enough changes to eventually move out into the stars, okay? So it is going to be a monumental period. I don't think it's going to exactly happen. I'm not trying to make this sound like 2012 again, but 2038 feels like a benchmark time. 2012 was a benchmark time because since 2012, that's why everything just feels like it's speeding up so fast. And that you could basically isolate that back to 2012, where everything just feels like it's going so fast. Like a day just feels like it lasts an hour, right? And that really culminated around the 2012 time. So 2012 was very correct. Right? That is again representing the end of time because we're moving much more into the nature of our own events, right? We're just living moment by moment, and it just feels like the time just disappears, right? So there's a fluctuation pertaining to that time stream, and now we go into 2038 where that is the end of prophecies, right? So as the prophecies therefore come together because they're all fulfilled either on or before that time, then we move into something brand new. We move into a whole new slate, a clean slate of everything else. So that may represent the idea of everything pertaining to corruption will be ending, either on or before that time. And this is going to be leading into a new era where humanity now actually starts to prosper, right? Not exactly on that day, not exactly on that year, but it's a benchmark leading towards that forward. So we can't really say. It's almost like if I'm looking at 2038, I'm just getting small visions of things that really I cannot put into full clarity. But it looks very, very positive. It looks very, very wonderful. It looks like the earth has given birth to this new consciousness. And that's kind of the vision I'm getting. Like I'm seeing a mother's womb just open up, and it feels like a new birth consciousness is coming out 2038. Okay? So that is basically the light that's being born onto the world around that time, okay? And like I said, we just don't isolate it right onto the date. We let a span take place. Adronis has always talked about the nature of, well, again, 2016 to 2024 represents the span of change with what we're in right now, Okay, exposures, great revealing, right? Ripping out the roots of corruption. 2025 to 2036 is the ending of all of that exposure. It's coming into a culmination, and now it's leading into the idea of rebuilding, reinventing everything, overhauling everything, right? That's renewal. 2025 to 2036. 2037 again represents the span of the new age. So we basically look at 2037 and 2038 representing a new age transition. As the new age transition comes in from 2038 to 2050, we're looking at the span of galactic inauguration. Okay, that's how Adronis has put it. So galactic inauguration represents the idea of the preparation to moving ourselves much more into a starbound civilization. Right, the beginning steps of it. Not all at once, but the beginning steps of those times. That's really what's been shared from Adronis looking at these different spans. Okay? But from 2038 forward, it feels like whatever is in the mother's womb is about to be born, and that will culminate in 2038. Okay, so that's what I've gotten called in. So again, take that for what it's worth. Okay, thank you again for a great question. Okay. Big Cat asks, hello Brad, can you please tell us about who our 22 progenitors are? They really keep this very secret under wraps. They've only talked about a couple of them, right? They cannot reveal all 22 because the 22 all together need to be revealed in their appropriate time, and I'm not the one to basically reveal all 22, okay? One of them are the Syrians, okay? So again, Adronis's people would be one of the progenitors of the human race. Another would be the original Anunnaki, okay? Not the ones that you're talked about in Samaria, okay? We're talking about ancient Anunnaki, basically like the ancient Elohim in that way. Ones that are basically not even physical anymore. They basically have transcended themselves past the physical plane, okay? They too would be one of the progenitors, okay? Orions, for example, okay? There are reptilians that are also part of the progenitors, okay? Not too sure if it's the Draco or anything like that. I believe it is the Draco, actually. And, of course, there's the Greys that have also hybridized themselves, but there again are descendants of humans, which in the funny way is also the progenitors. That's kind of the paradox with it, right? So you basically have the Greys, you have the Draco, you have the Syrians, you have the Anunnaki, okay? These are some of them, right? And I haven't really gotten the full 22 list right now. There's certain ones that are still hidden in the background. But you could say that we are part of the 6 main root races, right? The 6 main root races are part of the human genetics. So you have human, you have reptilian, you have aquatic, you have avian, you have mammalian, right? You have insectoid, and I'm trying to think, that's all, was that 6? Right, so human, reptilian, insectoid, mammalian, avian. Yeah, I'd have to go through the list again. But there's basically the six root races that we have. They are connected through our genetic stock as well too. So there are avians that are also part of our genetic stock as well. So I have to write that down on the list because I'm just not sure if I'm paying attention here. So let me see if I write that down to make sure I get all 6. Okay, so we have human. So we do have ancient humans, again, that are part of our genetic stock. We have reptilians. Okay, we have avians. We have aquatics. Okay, we have insectoids. We have mammalian races. Okay, 1, 2, 3, that's 6. Okay, good. Humans, reptilians, avians, aquatics, insectoids, mammalians. There we go. Okay, so we are part of all of them, right? Mammalians would be what you would know as cat people, dog people, bear people, all of that, right? Sasquatch, for example, would be an example of mammalians, okay? Sasquatch is another progenitor that we have. In fact, our entire template that makes us who we are, the primordial template from that is Sasquatch, okay? Sasquatch played a huge role in the development of humanity's bodies, okay? In fact, you could almost look at earlier stages of humans almost looking exactly like Sasquatch, okay? So Sasquatch, Bigfoot, very much a part of our primordial template. They are indeed our ancient ancestors, okay? And they're still here today, and they're very much all about nature, and they can do some really incredible things, right? I've had some encounters with Sasquatch. Uh, it's, it's interesting. That's all I can say. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, guys, if you do have questions about my orders or your orders, please don't mention them on here. Okay, please drop me an email or go onto Telegram. You can talk about that. Just it's not the place to do that because I'm really looking for questions that are outside of order questions. Okay, if you have order questions, please email me info@etherics.co or go onto Telegram and you can talk to me there about your orders. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Fishy Fun says, I have plenty of scars from 15 orthopedic surgeries. Now I'll know what to use a flashlight on. Perfect. And let me know how they clean up your scar tissue. Okay. Where can I find out about the flashlights? So again, guys, just go to etherics.co. Let me just go ahead and pop up the screen here very quick. Okay. Go to etherics.co. This is the website right here. It's not .com. Okay. It's .co. Okay. And don't put www. Right. www doesn't currently work on my web address for some reason. So basically just type in etherics.co or you can type in http:// okay. On the home page you'll see, as you scroll down, you'll see some of the images of the products there, and in the newest arrivals you'll see a picture of the flashlight. Okay, just click on the flashlight. You can also just do a search. I have a search bar on my home page. Type that in, flashlight, and the flashlight will come up. That is the Source flashlight, okay? That is the most powerful and potent of all the technologies that are on etherics.co. The Taurus bed kits are the most densely coated, right? And they're the most sophisticated. But the flashlights are the most potent, the most powerful, okay? So, like I said, it's worked wonders with me. I've had amazing experiences with the flashlight, just in regards to what I've had, okay? So check out the website, etherics.co. Okay, guys, we're almost out of time, so we're going to take about 1 or 2 more questions. Okay. So I'm just looking for some ones here that maybe someone has not asked me. Let's see here. Okay. Ali Mills basically asks, we got so many cloud-forming planes here in the UK. Every clear, sunny day. Why is this happening, Brad? Well, weather manipulation, weather modification technology. Okay, guys, we basically have a point right now upon the entire planet where we rarely have the Earth actually naturally providing the weather for us anymore. It has basically been taken over by weather modification technology, right? There's a weather modification net. That weather modification net can basically bring clouds going all the way down to Jamaica and bring it right over here to England, right? Something from up in Alaska, bring it all the way down to California. It's almost like you're clicking and dragging, right? And you have scalar waves that are going in and basically pushing all of that cloud formation to wherever it needs to. The entire planet is basically under a weather modification net, which means storms can be manifested quite easily, okay? Which means, again, you can basically have a place with clear sky, then they push clouds right over here, and now it's full of clouds. Okay, that all has to do with weather modification technology. So the entire planet is covered with that via satellites, via HARP facilities, any other particular type of weather modification technology utilizing scalar. We do not really have natural weather patterns anymore. It's all completely changed. It's all weather modification, right? So that's exactly why you will have these changes in weather patterns. Like right now, today, it's a gorgeous day. There's not a cloud in the sky. Usually in the couple years past, it'd be full of clouds right now, but we're getting like pure sunshine here today in late November. Very interesting. Okay, so it's all basically in that sense about whatever mankind wants the weather to be now. And this, again, is just another thing that's hurting the Earth. This is exactly why at some particular point this whole grid is going to go. I don't know when that's going to happen. Again, it could be a couple decades. But again, there's a timeline. There's a clock that is ticking when all of this technology will be rendered useless. And this is basically why it needs to happen, because Earth is constantly getting hurt. She's constantly being in pain with weather modification technology, with electromagnetic grids, with all of these things, right? With pollution, chemtrails, all of that stuff. All of it's got to go. So there's a clock on that, but we don't know what the end date is. Okay. So again, guys, if you're asking for healing, you have to tune in tomorrow, okay? I don't do healing on this webcast, okay, on the Signpost. Signpost is all about current events, questions from the audience. Sometimes I'll have a topic, but I wanted to leave it to viewer topics today, right? So next week I'll have a particular topic in mind. Tomorrow is where I do distance healing, okay? So you can come back to me tomorrow, ask for a distance healing, or again, distance healing is also available on newearthteachings.com, okay? Okay. So let's go to one more question, guys. We're going to wrap up the day. Okay. I think we'll end here with David's question. Actually, it's almost like kind of a combination between Marius's question here. So I think I'll tackle David and Marius's question, and I think we'll wrap up, okay? So we'll do 2 questions. So David asks, what do you see regarding ascension? Okay. You see, this is what I've talked about before. And it just depends in regards to what you mean. Okay, ascension is something that's very, very different from what we think it is. Here's what a lot of New Agers think what ascension is. That there will basically come a point in the time of the earth where the earth will go through a radical shift, and every single person upon the planet is going to burst into a light body and go into that shift with the new earth. And just pretty much everybody's going to go along, unless you're like horrifically evil, then you'll basically just stay in the background. But everybody else will just jump up and turn into a light body and go with the earth into this new ascension altogether. And that's not how it works. Okay? And that's just something that basically has become a religion. And basically I would say the New Age, the whole idea of these New Ages is that it's a religion. It's just a religion of instability, right? They come up with these ideas, they listen to a lot of what the ancients have talked about, and then they throw their own garble in between these things, believing that this is what's going to happen, and it's not. Okay? When you are looking at one's own personal ascension, you firstly have to understand the entire nature of life and your involvement with life. So Brad, what am I here to do? Nothing, really, would be the answer. Okay? And what I mean to say by that is that you're living life with absolutely nothing pertaining to expectations, beliefs, mentalities, tendencies. All of that falls away. And that is now you in the flow with life itself. Adronis has always referred to it as advancement and not ascension. Okay? He says we really don't use that term. We don't use the term ascension. We use advancement. Right? You're moving yourself into the advancement of remembering who you authentically are. And I'm going to do a video on this as well too, about what the spiritual path brings for everybody. Why follow a spiritual path? What achievement am I going to encounter on a spiritual path? Right? That's going to be a future video that I'm going to be doing here. I already have one video made about debunking the myths of the higher self. Okay, that will be up later today. So basically, when you're looking at the nature of an ascension, for a master that we would refer to quite commonly as an ascended master, you're basically looking at a saint, right? You're looking at a great sage. And in the modern world, that is extremely rare to find anybody like that. But when you look at a sage or a saint who basically has given their life to God, given their life to the divine, they have already ascended to the higher planes, even though they're walking in a physical body. They're already with God, even though they're here in this physical body, right? It's not about the idea about you bursting into light, okay? There have been certain masters that have been able to reveal their rainbow body, okay? But that is going into such deep levels of concentration. That is moving into such concentration of the mind, the modern person could never grasp that, and that's just simply the truth of it, right? None of you in the modern world, including me, could ever even do that, right? You have to withdraw yourself from society completely. You have to get out of the madness of the modern world, and you basically go into a state of retreat. And through that state of retreat, you are basically getting a lot of the guidance, sometimes given to you by a guru, sometimes it is given to you through your own reception of flow, about you just basically moving into a focal point of concentration. But in order for you to even attain that focal point of concentration requires such an incredible detoxification of the body and the mind. And it's just spewing everything out. Like if we just came from a dirty urban world, we have to regurgitate, we have to puke all that stuff out. And that regurgitation is going to happen in many different ways, physically, mentally, emotionally. You're vomiting all of that debris out of your body because it's toxic. Once you have done that and you're developing yourself in such a very fine state of concentration, you go into certain mantras, you go into certain mantrams, you move yourself into a particular type of authenticated behavior where you're just letting the concentration flow through you without you even having to concentrate. And over time, what happens is the body now starts to move up in regards to its vibrational increase on a cellular level. That vibrational increase on a cellular level now starts to bring about a dielectric discharge. That dielectric discharge shifts your entire body, where the rainbow colors you're actually seeing is energy being destroyed. Okay? Think of the aurora borealis. That's energy being destroyed by the earth. Energy can be destroyed, my friends. Okay? Energy is not just some sort of permanent thing that can't be destroyed. It's impermanent. It can die. Okay? Talk to an electrician who basically works on generators, who are seeing all these bolts, these arcs that are just suddenly vanishing and disappearing. That is energy dying. Okay? So what's happening is you're basically reversing the flow of the magnetism within yourself to where the dielectric takes over, the cosmic prana, where you're unfolding yourself, and in a burst of light, you basically turn into a singularity. Okay? That is what we would refer to in some particular way as a rainbow body or a golden body ascension. Okay? That is extremely, extremely, extremely rare. Okay? Maybe if we have 8 billion people on the planet, maybe 5 people can experience that. Maybe 10. Okay? Very small handful of people. Out of 8 billion people, 5, 10 people can maybe experience that. Okay? That is not where humanity is going en masse. Okay? Where humanity is going en masse is they're starting to see a change of an old era falling away and coming into a new era where there's going to be a lot more prosperity, because the human beings on this planet are now starting to work together with each other. This is why Adronis refers to it as advancement, not ascension. Okay? Ascension is basically just like what I've talked about. That is the idea where you're flipping the dielectric, the discharge of the magnetism, inverting yourself, turning yourself into singularity. And now you're just one with all that is. You are one with God. You are all-knowing. You are all-powerful. You are everywhere present. Okay? And that is something that requires such advanced mastery. No one in the modern world, and I can guarantee you this, not even me, would ever achieve that. You can't. It's not possible. You have to completely withdraw from modern society. Right? And now I know that's a bummer for, oh, come on, Brad, I wanted to turn into a rainbow body. I wanted to, poof! Right? Just become a light being, become pure singularity, be everyone, everything. Well, you already are that. You just don't know that you are that. Okay? And it involves such a commitment. You have to commit yourself. This is not just something you do part-time. Okay, I'm working at McDonald's full-time, but in the meantime, I'm going to work towards becoming this advanced rainbow body of a being. No. Right? That requires 100% of your attention. Okay? For you to even go into a rainbow body, that needs to be your entire life. You cannot do it half-assed because you won't get anywhere. Okay? This is why the New Age just fills so many people with a bunch of gratuitous bullshit. Right? They act like everybody can just have a rainbow body and have a golden body. They don't even know what they're even talking about. Right? This is just, it's diarrhea from the mouth, where they just do all this stuff and talk about all this stuff and act like everybody's going to go in a rainbow body, and they're filling you with so much hopium that you now start to believe it. And, okay, well, I'm going to wait till 2038, and then I'm going to turn into this rainbow body, and poof. No, doesn't work that way. And if that's what you've been told, then you've been told a bunch of regurgitated bullshit. Right? That's not how it works. You have to move into such a level of mastery. Like I said, I could not achieve that, right? I would have to leave this entire world behind. And believe me, there was a point in my life where I considered that, where I considered packing everything up. I would probably just go get a little trailer and just go out into the woods and stay there and be out of contact completely. But I didn't want that. I said, no, I want to live in the modern world. I want to learn all of this of what I'm receiving from the divine and being able to pass it on to people, right? I had that option of being able to throw all this away, to turn off the YouTube, to turn off my website, to stop helping people and just go in my own way and basically live like a hermit and start seeing exactly how far I could go. I had that option, but I turned it down because I want to be here. I want to help people because that's really where my joy is. That's how I am, right? So you may get that at some particular point in your life. You start doing all this work, but like I said, guys, this has to be the majority of your work. It has to be. You cannot think, oh, okay, well, I'm doing office work and I'm doing this, and that's going to about 80% of my time, and 20% of my time is towards spirituality. You're not going to get anywhere, right? You are not going to get anywhere. It needs to be a flip, right? You need the majority of your time to focus on your inner development. And if that's not you, then you're basically just looking at spirituality like an identity. You're looking at all of this as an identity to cope with horrible situations because you're not willing to change a damn thing. And unfortunately, a lot of people are like that. I'm hoping my subscribers aren't like that. I'm sure there's a lot of you who are very dedicated to the practice, and that's fantastic. That's wonderful that you are. It just goes to a saying that I have befriended, which is I would rather work with one person who at the very fiber of their being wants to go to God than to work with 1,000 people who are simply just curious. I would spend much of my time with that one person who at the very fiber of their being wants to go to God. Then 1,000 people, oh, I'm just curious, I'm just curious. And those 1,000 people would hardly get my attention at all. But that one person who within the fiber of their being wants to go to the divine, because that's exactly how my life has been. Every fiber of my being wants to go into union, wants to go into the divine. That's why I do this work, guys. That's how I'm able to receive what I receive, because this means everything to me, right? And that's exactly how you have to be. This is not a part-time thing. This is a full-time commitment. A commitment to the divine, a commitment to life, a commitment to God, a commitment to the self. And if you do not have that, you're not going to be experiencing everything that the New Agers think that you're going to experience. Okay? You're just utilizing the nature of spirituality as a catchphrase, as a form of identity to cope because you think your life is horrible. And you're trying to buffer it by thinking that you're following a spiritual path. And that's a bunch of nonsense. And that will get you nowhere, right? If you have to identify with spirituality, because guys, I've worked with about 25,000 people these past 15 years, working with private sessions, working with groups, and the majority of them are basically following a spiritual path because they have identified with it, right? They think it's part of their identity. They think that they're using it to cope, to try and put up with horrible situations in their life. Even when I'm teaching them practices about what they can do to remedy all that, they don't do it. Why? Because spirituality has become their identification. It's become their ID card. And that will get you nowhere. So this again is the whole idea about understanding ascension. You have to look into such mastery within yourselves. And like I said, that's not even something I don't think I can even do. It just requires such an advancement. You have to get out of the modern world. You cannot be in the modern world and expect to be in a rainbow body. Not possible, because it's too polluted. Urban life is too polluted. The city is too polluted. Being around millions and millions and millions of humans who are just so much about their 9 to 5 and their 5 senses and following the status quo, it's too polluted, right? You have to get out of it. And you need to go into retreat. You need to go into the Himalayas. You need to go into basically where there are the ones who are much more receptive to that. Maybe that is the Far East, okay? And you have to learn under a guru. And if you basically have the ability to do this yourself, well, then you're pretty damn advanced, right? So I don't need a guru. I can just do all this myself. Well, then I'm basically talking to an avatar, right? And I rarely encounter anybody like that. But that's what you would have to do, okay? I'm not trying to burst your guys' bubble, but what you guys are going through is advancement, okay? Not ascension. So that's where I wanted to talk about that, because it is a very, very important topic that David has brought up. And I appreciate that, David, that you brought that up. So let's go into Marius's last question here. Brad, do you think we are going into the Aquarius age in January of 24? No. Right? My feeling would be it would be more closer to 2038. Okay? I think that we're in the span of that. I think we're in the transitional time of that. But again, if we're looking into a new era, that would probably be more 2038. Okay? That's really what I would say the benchmark is, right? If you're looking at 2038, you're looking at a complete and total reset, a new slate that is coming together for the human race. 2038 would be more of the time for that. Okay? Thank you guys for joining me for today's episode of the Signposts Live. So join me tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, where we'll be doing some distance healing. Okay, I'll also be bringing in Adronis for a transmission, and we'll be doing some more Q&A as well too. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of the week. Again, remember to check out etherics.co for the flashlight, for the Taurus bed, for a lot of other great items that are available, and also newearthteachings.com if you want to book a private session with me or do the full body source healing session. That too is a game changer. Take care, guys. Blessings to you all. Talk to you tomorrow. Namaskar, and be well with you. Thank you so much for tuning in to New Earth Teachings on YouTube. Don't forget to check out our websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can do private sessions with me, and also etherics.co. And through Etherics, you'll be able to pick up your Healing Code Cards body deck, your mind deck, and your energy deck through Etherics. You will also be able to pick up the Etherbed kit. That is also on Etherics as well. Not to mention that you'll also be able to pick up some apparel and accessories that is also available on Etherics. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Namaskar, and may it be well with you.